Well, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to start rolling your fat doobies tonight because we got everything for you fellas at home, okay? We got UFOs, we got conspiracies, we got these alien twats that we gotta talk about. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you're brand new. Shout out to these people making these videos. Shout out to Barry Step, and most importantly, shout out to you as well for being here. Rolling.
I saw this conspiracy theory. I'm not sure how true it is, but you know how like so many multiplayer games have a cast of like incredibly diverse characters? It's like there'll be different pronouns or different ethnicities or different sexualities. Apparently there's a thing like, I don't know how true this is like schizo theories, right? There's a company called BlackRock, and they're like the biggest company in the world because they own assets in all the other companies. So they're bigger than like Amazon, bigger than Apple, because they own shares in all these companies. And apparently they have like this thing called like, the guy that owns it, Larry Fink, he's like ultra lefty. And he believes in like something called ESG, like environmental.
That's not a conspiracy. That's fact. That's true. If you're new here or if you're an OG, I have a main channel where we cover gaming news and all that. And yeah, this stuff is creeping into video games. This is real. This is as real as these UFOs flying on top of your head. Yeah, it's
social
real.
And governance. And it's like companies will purposely put diverse characters in a game to boost their ESG score, even though they know the player base will hate it, because they'll actually receive more funding from BlackRock.
It is
because
true.
It'll be like, okay, this company here increased their ESG score, we're going to pump 500 mil into their company. Even though they know the player base will absolutely hate this choice, they'll do it anyway, knowing that they're going to get more money from BlackRock.
This isn't a conspiracy. This is fact. This is exactly why it seems like every company in existence is ignoring their target market and adding all this woke stuff. They're getting enough money back from BlackRock to make up the difference in the money that they're losing out by alienating their consumers.
Y'all see where the FBI showed up at this girl's house over some posts she made on Facebook?
I really did not expect this type of news to be covered on this channel. But
we just moved in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy.
The masses are waking up, and I like that. The masses are waking up right now.
Post she made on Facebook.
We just moved in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy. I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not gonna share my credentials.
So you said you were with the FBI? And why won't you show me your credentials? I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So, and we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do...
I didn't look at your credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Fake FBI, maybe?
What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some...
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer. Do you have identification cards? No. No. I'll get back to you. What's the number? What are the names of the agents? So you're refusing to identify yourselves. Again, I did not take a look.
So the phone number for the FBI is 405-2906.
Bro is Googling the FBI number. Okay. Yeah, okay, well, that confirms, like, you work at FBI. Wow. Wow. It's... What?
Okay. And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts. Okay. So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want? Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America. Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech. Okay. So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood? I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions, correct? Okay. Most of the individuals, right, in America, especially older generation, right, have Facebook.
Right.
Are you questioning all the citizens in America? Okay, so you have concern.
This is ludicrous. This gotta be fake video, man. I cannot believe it if this is real. I can't believe... If this is real, I cannot believe that this is happening here, man. That is crazy, man.
About my personal opinions? I'm definitely not gonna have a talk with you. Okay, they're so-called FBI. This is Rola Abdel Jawad in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is America.
Something about that whole interaction seems suspicious. Those guys didn't...
I don't think those are FBI. I think those are people that are butthurt about whatever you said on Facebook in a post. That's what I believe is going on. So they were trying to just come to your place and try to hush you up. I guess.
Looked like legit FBI agents on an official assignment. Something seemed off. I absolutely love the way that lady handled that, though. You see all these social media arrests going on in the UK right now. You think they don't want to model that same federal authority over here? That clip was all the proof I need to show me that the federal government is scared of our right to free speech and wants to squash it.
Publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
That was the director of public prosecutions in England and Wales. And yeah, you heard that right, that the UK actually has a massive force of police officers scouring the internet for any repost, retweet, or original content that could theoretically incite whatever the government deems to be racial hatred.
And you know what, like the stuff that is going on right now is crazy in the UK, right? Like I'm not following the news, but I heard it's getting really, really bad. Right, like I would say the best solution to this is like they need to deport the illegal immigrants and migrants. Illegal one, you know what I mean? Those are the ones that are causing problems. And of course, like with all of that, you know, the entire race, the entire group, the entire religion, the entire countries, they get a bad rep, right? And of course, if somebody, I was hearing the story, there was a British born kid that actually killed some people, and all of a sudden somebody else is getting blamed for it. So there's a whole lot of that. The media is doing a very good job dividing us all, man. You know, we're all getting divided. It's insane. It is crazy. We all should be coming together as one, but they're getting very, very good at dividing us all. And I believe this one was the quote from Ronald Reagan, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably gonna paraphrase, but he said that if we had a threat from outside, all of our differences would be put aside and we would come together, right? And that meant like if we were threatened by an alien race from outside, I guess that's what we need. And I believe that's only then we're probably gonna be squashing over beef and squashing over like stuff aside, and we're gonna come together.
If you engage with or repost that content, you are deemed so dangerous for society that they will arrest and prosecute you.
Crazy,
I mean,
crazy.
did we just forget? Seriously?
Oh, George Orwell?
And here's the big problem with all this stuff. It's just some unelected board that decides what's offensive and what's not. And that metric changes daily. What's common sense language today is offensive and hateful language tomorrow. And none of these people take any common sense measures into account, like the historical use of certain words or phrases. If you're one of the people that are on board with this censorship, how are you going to feel about it tomorrow when they change the rules once again on what's socially acceptable to say, and you end up in front of a jury trying to defend yourself?
What the It's crazy, right? Because if you say something today that is correct today, but let's say 2 years from now it's not, are you gonna get penalized for that? You know, we see cancellations happening on the internet all the time, right? But we're not even talking, this is bigger than that. Like, this is getting canceled in real life as well, or potentially jailed even.
Is going on in the United Kingdom. Y'all all right? I've seen some news coming out of there that is insane. For example, this guy apparently posted a racist comment on Facebook, and he got 15 weeks in jail. This guy was selling anti-immigration stickers. He got sentenced to 24 months in prison. However, this guy repeatedly raped a 12-year-old girl and was sentenced to 180 hours of community service with no prison time. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
and by the way,
that's ludicrous.
I can tell you exactly what's causing this here in the States, and I would imagine that it's the same thing causing it in the UK. The federal government is allowing all these illegals in with extensive criminal histories, releasing violent offenders or not charging violent offenders, and then locking up the people who have a problem with it so they can create as much chaos as possible to destroy the system with hopes of rebuilding it into a communist dictatorship. It's so obvious.
Like I would say like the legal one, the people that came rightfully, the immigrants and the migrants that came rightfully, they came to work to study and all that, right? And because of them, the economy has been very, very good. The economy has been good, and everybody's like profiting off of that, or I should say like corporations and all that. It has been good for America. It has been good for countries, especially Canada relies on immigrants and migrants as well, because without it, like, the economy is going to collapse. But it's the illegal immigrants with criminal history that is the ones that are causing chaos. And then of course the entire race, religion, and people get the blame for it, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, so that this entire group is bad. You know what I mean? Every country, race, religion, people have a bad apple. Everything, okay? Everyone has like that, and you cannot say the whole tree is bad based off of one bad apple or two bad apples, right? But it's the illegals, immigrants, that's the problem.
Literally praise the socialist and communist forms of government publicly, and people still aren't waking up to it. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I post a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock. It would be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
On taxing farmers up to 8 on agriculture. Now, the Danish government is planning on taxing farmers up to 80 quid for every single cow to encourage less meat consumption and to tackle climate change. Well, Danish ministers hope the proceeds from the tax to help farmers to go green. Well, is this an utterly mad policy, or do policymakers deserve a pat on the back? To discuss it, I'm joined now by the agricultural policy analyst for the Consumer Choice Centre, Bill Wirtz. Bill, welcome to the show. A meat tax sounds like yet another sinister nudge to make us all vegans. And what about the impact on the farming industry in Denmark?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a big one. I mean, the Danish government just did this because they did poorly in the European elections. The Green Party did pretty well, so now they decided to make meat more expensive for everyone.
Policymakers do not deserve a pat on the back for this. None of these laws are passed to provide for the people. What good is it going to do to have people start eating bugs instead of beef? It's not going to do any good. In fact, it's going to create a lot of health issues because our bodies aren't designed to break down the chitin in most of these insects' exoskeletons. Not to mention the flurry of possible side effects that you're exposing yourself to by eating this stuff. And even though they're trying to hide that information, you can still find old forums and stuff breaking down the dangers of eating insects. If this is what they want to push us into, it's not to save the planet. The planet being saved means nothing if we aren't here to enjoy it.
I think at least 50% of UFOs have been seen entering and exiting the oceans.
Right, yes.
And so they're also called USOs. Well, okay, where are they coming from? I mean, 70% of the Earth's surface is water.
Yeah, which has been mostly unexplored.
Yeah, I go into this, yeah, something like 5% of the ocean surface has been unexplored. So
now, when you actually take that into account, that's ludicrous, right? Like 5%, 10%, give or take, that's how much of it is explored. What about the other 90%? Crazy, man, crazy. We don't even know our own planet, and we're looking to be on Mars. You know what I mean?
Just wrap your mind around that for a minute.
No, I'm with you.
This doesn't make any sense. We have detailed Google maps of Mars, and 5% only of our own ocean has been explored. Why? Who doesn't want us looking at the ocean floor? In my book, Closer Encounters, there's a whole section where I go into sub-oceanic engineering that the United States has researched and developed. In other words, detailed blueprints for facilities that the U.S. Navy wanted to build underneath subsurface mountain ranges on the seabed and inside the continental shelves in case of a nuclear war with the Soviet Union.
This has always puzzled me. Why are we not exploring our own oceans? Is there something down there they're trying to stay away from? It just doesn't make any sense. I do think, though, that we likely have alien bases in the ocean, and that's my current best guess as to why we stopped exploring. Because
maybe we do. Some do believe that they come from space. Others believe that they have been here. Some believe that they come from the underwater. Some believe that it's all of the above, where some of them do come from space. Some of them are in the water, our oceans, and all that. Yeah, it is crazy, because there have been cases where there were Russian divers that came across some beings with masks on, almost as though those were there, the masks were there so they could breathe underwater. So that means that they also rely on oxygen. Maybe, perhaps. Does that mean that on their own planet, if they are from different planets, right? Does that mean that on their own planet there would be oxygen? Maybe, perhaps. It is crazy, and a lot of it is unexplored. I'm talking about the ocean. Now, this is also another explanation given, but I'm not sure how much of that is true. We surely have the technology, so I'm not saying that we don't. We do, but this is the explanation that is something that I heard, is that of course, like, it's gonna be harder to explore the underwater, the oceans, because there's so much water that's gonna be on top of you, and that's gonna translates into tons and tons of kilograms in terms of weight. For example, what happened with the the couple of billionaires that went to see the Titanic on the ocean floor, right? They went so deep that ultimately they imploded because it could not sustain it. I do believe we have the technology to go and search for it, but maybe it's hard. Maybe it is hard to search, or maybe it's not hard, it's just they don't want it. Simply, they don't want it. Maybe that's what it is.
We were told to. And until we get some better information, or at least an official explanation, that's all we can do is guess.
13,000 chemicals in fragrance. Fragrance actually has a loophole, so they don't have to disclose any toxins that are in fragrance and in that product. So if you get something like some perfume or some cologne, they don't got to tell you what's in it. And then somebody sprays themselves with arsenic and heavy metals and all these things, and all of a sudden they start having reactions. So if you are going to do anything with fragrance, you can look into organic essential oils. That's the simple solution. You put a little peppermint right on the neck, or a little lavender right on the neck, and that's it. But you don't have to have all this synthetic stuff, and that's part of these industries. Fragrance creates an allergy industry. I mean, even like Febreze. You know, the patent for Febreze talks about when a person sprays Febreze in their house, it will disable their sense of smell and taste. That's what the patent says. Think of how crazy this is. So a person's like, they spray all over. Now they can't smell and taste anymore. What does that create? Another business. Each thing creates a new business that never had to exist. It's like an adapter to the adapter to the adapter. But you can't figure out the root cause because you never got rid of the fragrance.
I just threw this in here as a PSA. I had no idea that they could put anything they want into perfumes and they don't have to test it for side effects or label its contents. If that's true, that's a major reason to stay away from it.
It's similar to like the medications, right? You start taking medications because you're feeling just light symptoms, and all of a sudden that medication is going to create more symptoms, like more problems. Therefore, you would have to go in for a checkup for that problem. You're gonna take that medication that's gonna create like different symptoms for different problems. You might not even get symptoms, but yeah, you don't know what's happening in inside your body, right, till it's too late, kinda, in certain aspects and certain things. So it's like you take medication to cure your problem. It creates more problems, and more problems
from that stuff. I don't know if it's true, but I also don't wear perfumes or colognes. If you do, you may want to do a little research on this one.
Oh yeah, facts.
Is getting ready for a reversal. Every so many tens of thousands of years, this happens. It's normal. It even creates a reversal of Earth's magnetic field. So right now, if you go out to any area where there's volcanic activity and you can get your hand on some volcanic rocks, some really old volcanic rocks, and you take those volcanic rocks and you check the position or the orientation of the atoms, if they're more than 27,000 years old, you will find out that the atoms are oriented opposite. In other words, north is south and south is north, meaning that the Earth's magnetic field is recorded in volcanic rocks. Okay? And we know this is basic archaeology 101. This is what they teach you. This is basic stuff. But what's interesting about this is it means that the Earth's magnetic field, it flips every so many tens of thousands of years. On average, around every 26, 27,000 years, the Earth's magnetic field does a flip. Now, what's happening here in this current era, if you begin to research the Earth's magnetic field, you discover that Earth's magnetic field is actually warping and wrinkling in a way that's even letting a lot of radiation and cosmic rays hit the planet because it's bending in a way. And the magnetic north has begun to move. And where is it now? Magnetic north has now moved over Russia. It's actually just now beginning to pass Russia. So it's been ticking away as our magnetic field is preparing itself for a complete flip, south to north and north to south. All right. And so this is interesting because this is what Thoth is talking about here. in the Emerald Tablets. He's talking about something that we're experiencing right now today in modern science.
I don't know what to think here. I've heard so many different theories on this and how it's supposed to work. Some of the theories are just wildly interesting to think about, and some of them are so terrifying they've literally kept me up at night worrying about them. I know which theory I hope is true, but the one that seems to be the most likely or that has the most evidence that I've seen is the one that I'm most terrified of. The idea of a pole shift that completely wipes away our atmosphere and destroys everything with mile-high tidal waves, I honestly think that that theory looks the most plausible of everything that I've seen. But I'm crossing.
What about like the solar flares too? Like solar flares and all that.
My fingers that 7 Club has it right with his quarter theory, and we're just experiencing a naturally occurring slow shift in the poles.
Hopefully. But guys, check out this video on the screen. This is the last episode that we've done. We had a ton of these conspiracy TikToks in that, tons of conspiracy videos. Check this one out, and I'll see you right there. You're gonna love it. If you already seen it, then check out the video on the left.